everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we're so excited today. We're talking with one of our Hall stars. This is so fun. We're
Hi.
talking with the star of the new Hallmark film, A Greek Recipe for Romance, Danielle C Ryan. And Danielle, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so this is your first time on the podcast, and we like to get to know you. And so tell us a little bit about how you got started. I know you were a child actor, correct?
I started, my first film was in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, kind of a fluke thing where a friend asked, my mom if I would audition. And
Uh-huh.
of course, my mom was a little hesitant, about, do I really want my kid, doing this? But she took a chance on it and we went in and I ended up getting it. And it was a movie called Little Secrets with
Mm-hmm.
Evan Rachel Wood and Vivica Fox. And I loved it.
Yeah.
My mom's like, okay. So my parents were very, like I said, hesitant. And it was always, one, if you ever become a brat, you're done. And two, whenever it's
Mm-hmm.
not fun and
Yeah.
you no longer enjoy it, then quit. So I
Mm-hmm.
never, ever had that overhang pressure from family or relatives being like, you have to do this. Or
Mm-hmm.
so my mom was a
What?
trooper. She went to LA with me and
Mm-hmm.
I immediately got Cat in the Hat and then Little House on the Prairie and just kept on rolling with it.
Nice. Yeah, I love Little Secrets. I think it's such a cute little movie.
Yeah, there's some fun
I
stories.
really do. I mean, I think part of it is because I'm from Utah. I don't know if you do that,
I didn't
but
know that. No, I didn't.
yeah. So I'm from Utah, and so it's kind of fun to watch and be like, oh, I know all these streets. I know these restaurants.
That's funny. Yeah,
Yes.
that was a fun one. That was Blair True was the director on that. That was my first
Mm-hmm.
experience with, the whole crew thing. And it was I don't know if you remember the party scene where I go out and I stick my tongue out at her. I'm like 7 years old. So
Were
I
you like the little sister?
no, I was like the cat. I was the one that kept stealing all the cats.
Yeah.
And like I
Okay.
would go to her with, like that was my
Oh
secret.
yeah.
And but that day I was so sick. So
Oh.
sick. Had the worst migraine of my life, was throwing up everywhere. You could see these
Oh.
little dark circles under my little 7-year-old eyes. And
Uh-huh.
they're giving me Gatorade and they're like, you're fine, take your time. They stopped filming for me.
Oh.
So super sweet.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, that must have been really exciting to like go to a premiere and stuff like that when you were little. Your first
Yeah,
one.
I mean, excuse me. Back then, of course, I didn't know what it was. It was just,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I get to see my friends and we're
Yeah.
watching. It was just always
Mm-hmm.
about being with my friends and the people that I enjoy
Yeah.
working with.
Did you grow up in Utah? Is that how you ended
I
up?
I did, yes. So
Okay.
I was born in California. My family moved to Utah when I was around 6 months old.
Mm-hmm.
So I claim that I was
Yeah.
I'm very much a Utah girl. So
Well, I was just saying, I was actually born in California, and then my family moved when I was like around a year old, and then we lived in Utah until I was 12.
okay, so you and
And
I
then,
are literally about the
yeah.
exact age, about all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we actually moved to Maryland when I was 12, and so I was in from 12 to 18. I was in Maryland, and then my whole adult life I've ended up living in Utah, which I did not expect.
It's
That was a surprise.
I love it. I love going back.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
California. I live in California, but
Hmm.
I do love going back. My whole family's there.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you forget sometimes how beautiful it is here, and then every once in a while just look up and be like, wow, those mountains are really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You take them for granted.
For sure.
Yeah. So you like moved basically to LA with your mom,
Mm-hmm.
and is that how you got Cat in the Hat?
It is. Yeah, we came out here just for pilot season, which is kind of what most,
Mm-hmm.
kid actors do. And Cat in the Hat came
Yeah.
along and went through that process. That was a 6.5 month shoot, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately we went to Canada for a mini series, and we came back
Oh,
and we just
wow.
was stuck.
Were you an only child?
No, nope. I have two
Oh,
older siblings,
so
but
that would be
there's a
challenging.
big age gap. There's a 13-year age gap.
Oh,
So she
okay.
wasn't, but by the time that I was getting into it, they were done with high school and living their own life, kind of.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, what was Cat in the Hat like? I mean, what are your memories of, I mean, being such a visual movie
was,
to be part of?
a lot of work. But it was really fun. I mean, it was a crazy
Mhm.
experience. It was a very long shoot. The makeup, of course, and being that young, it's 3 hours sitting in makeup, and then you have all your stunt. The stunt part was my favorite, hands
Uh-huh.
down. The stunt team,
Yeah.
makeup artist were my saving grace on that film. But I mean, I have so many good memories of Mike. Dakota and I got really close. We would have sleepovers, and it was, yeah, I had a really good experience.
Uh-huh.
Learned a
That's
lot,
cool.
but
Yeah. Did it scare you at all seeing him in that costume?
no, not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
No,
That's
because
good.
it was, we just spent all of our time with him.
Uh-huh.
So it was just kind of, that was
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
When you started doing the kind of the rom-coms, how did you end up on like the Amish track with like the Amish movies?
that was more of a fluke thing. George Chimney and ACI, they kind of called me out of the blue, told me to read the book, and then 2 days later I was on a plane headed to Charm, Ohio to do Love Finds You in Charm.
Uh-huh.
And then the next two films that I did with them, they kind of always tie in that Amish, theme, culture, and so those were the three that we did that were Amish.
Yeah. Was that interesting for you
Very.
to dive into that culture and
Very.
everything?
I wasn't familiar with it really at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember it was almost like a culture shock kind of thing. Like I'm looking out your hotel window and it's just buggies, like horses and buggies. And you go to the grocery store and the cars park in the back and the buggies all have like their ties in the front. And it's just a very, very different world, but it was
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
fun to learn. And I mean, it's almost like a breath of fresh air to allow yourself to just
Mm-hmm.
be away from the world for a little
Yeah.
while you're filming.
What was that like to wear the clothes, Amish clothes?
Um,
There's no buttons, right?
nope. There was many days of wardrobe and me with my hands
Yeah.
stuck in the air. So they're like trying to like wiggle it down. And
Yeah.
I'm not a dress person to begin with. So that was that. And then the bonnet. Like, quit touching
Uh-huh.
me. Ooh, sorry.
Yeah. You got to work with our friend Gladriel Steinman.
I did.
Love her so
We've
much.
done twice.
Mm-hmm.
We've worked together twice. And then her husband and I worked together on two or three films together.
Oh, we've had him on as well.
Yeah,
Love them
Kevin's
both.
great.
They're
Yeah,
the best.
I love them.
Mhm.
Love them. Their kids are adorable. Great.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Well, so we have that we had you on the Hallmark Channel before with the Finding Love in Mountain View.
Yeah. Yes, that was with Michael Olivier and
Yeah,
Lisa
we had
Madden.
him on. That was fun. Talk to him. So what was that like to make that one?
That was another really, really fun one. I'm gonna say that about all of them because I've never really had a bad experience on a
Yeah.
film where I'm gonna say it's a terrible film. But that one again, we were literally out in the boonies.
Uh-huh.
Super fun crew because they were all local, so they knew
Was
all
that in
the local
Canada
spots.
or?
No, we filmed that in Arkansas.
Oh, in Arkansas. Okay.
And it was just it was so fun because I'm an outdoorsy girl. Michael's, he's outdoorsy.
Uh-huh.
So the only thing were the chiggers.
Oh
The
yeah.
crew had us like terrified, like, don't walk through the grass. Like, what? Oh, like, oh, it's Chiggerland. So that was the only
Yeah.
thing on that one that we were like, ugh. But
Yeah, I served my mission in Indiana, and we learned real quick you can't walk through the grass.
nope, nope. And wasn't
It's
there
bad.
with like clear nail polish? Like if you put,
Oh yeah.
or they could have been pulling our leg. We don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But the kids were great on that one.
Yeah, doesn't one of them get lost?
Yes, well, they both run away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
It's been a bit since I saw it, but yeah.
Yeah, they run away and we end up, going after them. But it was just so funny how, because Michael and I weren't like, they weren't our kids, but yet the kids looked just like us. Like, Luke had curly hair, Skylar had the blonde hair and the little freckles, and it's just like they were perfect for the two of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. So is that when is your sister passed away, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
She passes away and then she leaves the kids to me, and I have no idea what.
It's like a raising hope situation.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about this Greek recipe for romance. Very exciting. Part of this passport to love. You must have been super hyped when you got this role.
I was very excited. Again, it was a quick call. So it's
okay.
They called and just said, "Hey, you go to Greece? Are you interested in this?" And I was like, "Yeah. I do this."
Had you done like a self tape, or
no? They just called.
They just called. Okay.
Yeah, David, the producer, called, and it was just, again, super quick, and you're on a plane and you're there, and that was another one that major culture shock. There was very, very, very few people on the crew that spoke English.
Oh wow!
So it was, and which I ended up loving, because you have to communicate in a completely different way. All of a sudden, you're communicating more with your body than your words, and I'm learning a completely different culture. They're showing me their dances, their music, I loved it. I learned a couple words. Of course, the crew taught me all the swear words. And I quickly learned that this in Greece is not waving at you.
Oh.
I'm like, you guys are so friendly here. And everyone just busted up laughing. They're like, did they do this behind it? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, they weren't waving at you. I'm like, oh, okay, got it.
That's good to know. Yeah. So you get the call and you basically have like a couple days to like pull everything together. That's so amazing. Actors are incredible.
Make sure dogs are taken care of, horses are taken care of, and I'm off. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Why don't you tell everybody what a little bit about the movie, what it's about?
It's so it's about my character Abby Dolan, and she is a hardworking businesswoman trying to make her way up in like the hotel managing world, ends up getting let go, goes to visit her mom, who moved to Greece and wants to start up this bed and breakfast type thing. And it's just kind of a disaster. And she ends up meeting Raphael, Raphael's character. And the two of them kind of start up a restaurant together because his dream is to become a chef, but he doesn't have the managing skills where she has the managing skills. So it's them figuring each other out. And
so she's actually like moved there. I was a little bit confused about that.
No, she's there on vacation.
She's there on vacation
to visit her mom. And then of course,
because that's like a big thing to like, we're going to open a restaurant while I'm on vacation.
She's very ambitious.
Abby's
incredibly ambitious and driven. And I'm not going to give anything away. I'm not going to say she stays at the end, but
it was like, this is like Hallmark's version of Mamma Mia.
A little bit.
Yeah. The mom's over there in Greece and everything. Had you ever been to Greece before?
No, I hadn't.
Oh, so that's so cool. So you got to experience it.
That is one of the major perks, is I get to visit places that I would never, have the experience to visit, and meet people that I would never be able to meet.
Did you get to tourist at all? Either before or after?
No, not much. No.
Oh, that's too bad.
I didn't. Yeah. And we thought about, I thought about staying a couple extra days. It just didn't work out. So I'm like, everyone's like, come back. I'm like, I will come back.
Hopefully you'll be able to, go back. I went to Greece when I was 17. there was, but with a group from people at school. It was an unofficial school trip that
Okay.
the Spanish teacher, she would arrange, and it was kind of funny because there were probably like 6 of the secretaries. There's these older women that also came on the trip, and it was just this. We went to Italy and Greece when I was 17, and I actually preferred Greece over Italy because at the time, at least, Greece was way cheaper,
No.
and it was just, I don't know, I just like, I wasn't a big fan of Pompeii. Pompeii was a little, yeah, and that was
Were you
weird.
in Athens? Did you visit much of Athens?
Yeah, we did Athens. We did the coast, which I really loved. Both, I loved the Amalfi Coast, and I loved the coast in Greece. And it was just way, at the time, it was like way more affordable. I don't know if that's still the case, but Greece was a lot cheaper than Italy, and so it was more fun. Felt like I could do more. But anyway, it was a super fun trip, and of course, delicious food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to experience all the food. And another fun thing is there was a impromptu, it wasn't even in the script. I think you see a tiny piece of it in the trailer, where Raphael and I are like dancing around this music festival. We just happened to be filming.
Oh, really?
What is all that sounds like? What is all these people are everywhere? And it also happened to be the day that we were riding the scooter around town. So that was fun for Raphael to have to navigate, and he was very nervous.
Yeah. So you just worked the festival that was.
Yeah, the producer went and talked to everybody, and they're like, "Hey, are you okay if we come in and film a little bit?" And they're like,
"Oh, that's
absolutely." Cool. So they got to film the performers. So the performers got to, that you got to see a little bit of their culture. It was very traditional. So like they're in very traditional. I don't remember exactly what it was, but everything. Right. So it's just like, that was a really cool.
That is cool.
Experience.
It makes it authentic.
It wasn't, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's Susan Mallory's new book, For the Love of Summer. Ready for a story that hits you right in the feels and makes you believe in the power of friendship and resilience? Check out New York Times bestselling author Susan Mallory's For the Love of Summer. Experience Allison's roller coaster ride of life, grappling with financial troubles and emotional highs and lows, and finding unexpected allies. Unravel the intricacies of family ties, the solace of true friendship, and the unwavering spirit that propels us forward. Grab your copy of For the Love of Summer at your favorite bookstore or use the affiliate link below and discover a story that will leave you asking, what would you do? That's For the Love of Summer, available today wherever you purchase your books. So when you get assigned a co-star, like in one of these rom-coms, what's that like, and how do you kind of work in developing chemistry together?
I've been super fortunate, and it's always just kind of been an immediate, we've always hit it off with my co-stars. And especially in most of these rom-coms, Raphael kind of got stuck. He was cast very last minute. And the interesting thing with him was we had a language barrier because he didn't speak a lot of English.
Yeah.
And so his accent was really thick. And so we were having to work at that a little bit, but just the sweetest guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, across the board, I've been really, really lucky with everyone I've had to work with, from, Trevor to Jonathan Bennett and Maiko, just everybody's been great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was curious about his casting process and what that happened. It's always nice when they have people from the actual place cast.
I was the only American. So everybody there was 100% Greek.
Yeah, that must be nice. I mean, it again makes it feel more authentic.
Very.
Did you have to have some practice in learning how to cut food and convincingly play a chef?
They would show us a little bit. That was more of Rafi's thing, is he was the chef. So they had to work with him a little bit more to, show him exactly how to cut everything. And so I was okay to kind of look dumb because
okay.
My character didn't really know what she was doing. So I didn't have to. I love cooking in real life. So
you're like an amateur chef in the
yeah.
Okay. Got it.
He was
Yeah.
a pro.
Mm. Yeah. Do you have any eating scenes? I know those are usually a nightmare for
Oh yeah, we had a
actors.
lot of eating scenes. Well, no, I had a lot of eating scenes because
Yeah.
it's always him giving me dishes to try to be like, should we put this on the menu? Should we put this on the menu? And there were a couple times because you take a bite and then you have to say a line like right after. And so you're like, and so they would a couple times have to like quickly hand me a spit napkin. And
Yeah.
before they gave me the best assistant while I was out there, and he was kind of my translator, and he was my driver while I was there. You know, he was just kind of we became best friends.
Uh-huh.
But he would always sit there with like this napkin and be like, spit. Oh, here it goes. I miss him.
Yeah. I know I've heard of that a lot of times they have like a bucket.
There's a spit. Yeah.
Yeah.
This time they gave Puergos a napkin.
Yeah.
He was a true.
What was the yummiest thing that you had to eat? Your favorite?
Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. There's a very famous spinach.
Oh, like spanakopita?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
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 That was really good.
That's really good. Yeah. Yeah.
And they had an actual very, very good chef making all of this.
Uh-huh.
I got like the real deal.
Yeah, that's good. Well, what do you think that the Hallmarkies audience will like most about this movie? What's your favorite parts?
I think one, the culture,
Uh-huh.
because a lot of people maybe, I mean, like me, I didn't know much about like the real Greek people. And this film is very much, you know, just throws you right into it. And so it's almost like if the audience is anything like me, they're going to be thrown into it as well.
Uh-huh.
And they're going to have to take Abby's journey with her, you know, learning all of this. And then, of course, I always love conflict between characters. Like, I don't like it when characters automatically are just in love.
Right.
You know, it's automatically bonded. So the bickering and stuff between, you know, every character and
would you say this is like enemies to lovers, or does it go that far?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Okay, good.
Not quite that far, but
okay.
Close to it.
Yeah.
Close to it, because they definitely butt heads a lot.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Did you get to have any like scenes at like a beach or anything like that?
Excuse me. We were supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do just a little bit where I got to see the ocean for like half a second. So there's one scene, but unfortunately that was an extremely windy day where it was just like everywhere and you couldn't hear anybody. So we ended up having to kind of move part of that scene.
Yeah. You have to ADR most of those kinds of scenes, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that like? That must be kind of nerve-wracking.
I actually don't mind ADR.
Uh-huh.
I've always enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Most actors dread it, but I'm like, ooh, okay. I mean, I don't like going in and seeing that you have like 20 pages that you have to do, but it's nice just to be able to see a little bit of the film and, you know, you get to see the director and stuff while you're there. So you get to talk and see everybody.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that you're a rom-com fan of rom-coms?
Yes. I definitely lean a little bit more towards the theatrical stuff, but I definitely have a soft spot for the rom-coms.
Oh, you mean like theatrical rom-coms?
No. I'm just saying, like, in general, I like more of the theatrical content, but I do love rom-coms. My favorites, of course, are like the classics. Like, I love like Pretty Woman and, you know, My Best Friend's Wedding. I can watch it over and over again. Runaway Bride.
Julia Roberts.
Yeah, I'm a Julia Roberts. I love Julia Roberts.
All three of those.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts. Yeah, I mean,
obviously you are.
Oh yes, obviously. Yeah, I just
your favorite classics.
Oh, it's so hard. There's so many great ones. But I love Nora Ephron. It's probably my favorite. Her as writer director. I love When Harry Met Sally. I love You've Got Mail. But then there's smaller ones that I also love. I love a little movie called Sing Street. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. That's a favorite of mine. I love Juno. That's another favorite. That's one of the most quotable movies I think ever made. I mean, I love classics like Bringing Up Baby. It's a
Mhm.
favorite. It Could Happen to You. Love that one. Um, yeah. I mean, there's so many good
Are there
ones.
any like, and you can dish, it's okay. Any like Hallmark movies that you're excited that are coming up?
Oh,
That
that are coming
have some of
up.
your favorite, yeah, that have some of your favorite casts in them?
Well, I am excited because there's going to be 2 movies for Christmas in July, new movies this year. So that will be really fun. I mean, I definitely, in general, prefer like the Christmas movies
Mhm.
are my favorite over, but I mean, there's obviously good and bad in every season. But I mean, this is fun. This Greek one is fun because I actually have been there, whereas a lot of times because I've never been to Paris, I've never been to London, I've never, a lot of these when we joke that you can't fall in love in a Hallmark movie unless you're in Ireland or Italy.
I need to travel more.
Yeah. There's so many in Ireland, especially. There's so many. I've never been to Ireland. I've never been to the UK really, except for just a stopover. But yeah, there are what else? I'm really excited about the Signed Sealed Delivered. I don't know if you know about that franchise at all, but they're really good. And I honestly, they've kind of concluded the series twice already. So I did not think that we were going to get, not let alone, I did not think we were going to get 1, let alone 2 more. So that's exciting. And the writer, Martha Williamson, she's very good, a good writer. And so I have full confidence in her that it'll be good. And it's just been a very, very strong series. And I think they're so lucky because, I mean, this large cast, the fact that everybody's seemingly available, you think that they would have other projects and stuff.
Well, it's too like when the actors have so much fun and they love they're working with and what they're doing, then that of course that makes you want to stay. And it's always
Just
great when you think a
fortunate.
series is going to end and it gets rebooted. That happened with Criminal Minds. That ended, and then all of a sudden the fans are like, "No, bring it back!" So they brought it back.
And I'm excited. They have a couple series that they've announced. There's this chicken series that with Leah Thompson. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but hey, sign me up. I'm ready to go. And then they filmed like a Christmas series, but they haven't announced it. But they were supposed to air it last year. They didn't air it. So that's a big mystery of like, and it had like a bunch of stars like Erin Cahill and Michael Rady and stuff. And it's like, where is this series? Like surely they're going to air it eventually. They shot it, so that's very puzzling and very interesting. And so, we'll see. The last couple Augusts have been very strong and had some really good films. Of course, we don't know, what those are going to be yet, but they've had a pretty good track record. It hasn't been the strongest year for Hallmark so far.
Now the strike kind of.
Yeah, that's probably part of it. Yeah, but but yeah, I don't know. I just love a rom-com because so much of what's going on in the world is depressing and stressful, and it's relaxing to me to just sit down and watch a rom-com. People fall in love.
Yep.
And
you don't have to think, and it makes you happy, and you feel good at the end, and you can go to bed in a good mood. And
people say, oh, they're predictable. You know exactly what's going to happen. I'm like, sometimes I need that. I need to just know. I don't want to be subverted. I don't want to be surprised. I just want to be like, bring it to me. And
add in a little spice in there, we're good.
Yeah, that's right.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
We like to end our interviews with some fun get to know you questions. So,
Okay.
first question, what is the best ice cream flavor?
Ooh, mint.
Okay, good, good. What is your favorite color?
Black.
Oh, good. Okay. What music are you into?
Rock mostly and country.
Okay, cool. And what is your go-to date night food?
Immediately went to pizza in my brain.
Uh-huh. What's your favorite
It can be
topping?
the fancy pizza, it can be chill pizza, it doesn't matter, but that's
Yeah.
the first thing that popped into my head. Just for like a fun
Yeah.
date
Well, I
night.
mean, I think pizza's kind of like ice cream in the sense of like, it's just good. Like you can have like cheap ice cream,
Right.
and then you can have like the fancy gourmet stuff. And
Or
it's just,
Mexican food. I love
it's just
Mexican
good.
food.
And pizza, I think, is the same. You can have like really cheap pizza,
Yeah.
but it's still pizza. Or you
Mhm.
can have like the fancy, brick oven, whatever.
Right.
And
Right.
that's good too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say pizza or like a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. What's your go-to date night activity if you're going out doing something?
Anything outside,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a hike. If I know you really well, you can come see my horses and then we go have a date night at the barn. That's fun. A motorcycle ride. Again, if I know you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just anything outside.
Yeah.
And I almost hate when they're like, let's go bowling. And I'm like, oh.
It's too bad you're not Canadian.
Right.
You could be on Heartland. You're a horses person.
I know. I'm a big horse girl. That's
And,
where I'm headed right after this.
nice. That's a great show. I mean, it's just got a ton of heart, and you don't have to, because now they're on the 17th, about to start the 18th season, but you really don't have to go all the way back. You can just start like right where they're
And
at.
pick it up like I won't be lost.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah. That was kind of our pandemic project is me and my friend and Michelle, my friend. We started finally covering Heartland, and it took us over 2 years to to catch up.
Well, that's a look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, 18
Yeah.
seasons.
And they keep, whenever
awesome.
they announce, I tell her, I said, you didn't know you were making a lifetime commitment when you agreed to
That's
we have a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, which do you like better, dogs or cats?
I can't answer that. I love everything. But I have 2 dogs, so
Oh,
I guess if I really have to choose, I'm gonna go with dogs.
what kind of dogs do you have?
I have a Belgian Malinois and a Husky mix.
Oh, cute. Which do you like better, beaches or mountains?
Mountains.
Okay, cool. What's your favorite holiday to celebrate?
Either Halloween or Christmas.
Mm.
Ooh, but I love 4th of July too.
Do you have an epic Halloween costume? Your best Halloween costume?
I think my best Halloween costume was probably either I was Avatar, like the blue. I was
Mhm.
with the
You
full
were a
blue
Nevi, a
everything.
Nevi.
Or there was one Halloween that we just happened to do a really cool fairy photo shoot the morning
Oh.
of. So then I just kept it all on, and I mean I was fully decked out, full scales down my back, like everything. So those 2 are my best.
Oh, that's cool. This was for like a work thing,
It was.
and they let you like go home with it.
He's like, do you want me to take it off? I'm like, it took you 6 hours to put it on. Just leave it.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
It was
really
really
cool.
fun.
Yeah, I like my Tracy Turnblad costume a lot from Hairspray.
Okay.
That's a favorite. I was Professor McGonagall from Harry Potter
Oh gosh,
once. That was fun. An angel. When you're as an angel, I was Chucky from Rugrats. That was fun. That's the fun of it is the planning the costume.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. My best friend and I, our entire year is planning Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Last question. What is your favorite Hallmark or romantic movie?
Oh no.
We talked about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, as far as romantic movie goes, Runaway Bride. if I'm in a bad mood or
Yeah.
I'm tearing up or I'm by myself, I'll put that movie on.
Mhm. You
And
know
it
what
makes
I
me
love in that movie? I love the scene when she finally figures out what kind of eggs she likes.
mm-hmm.
Because
Scramble.
she always is just saying, you know, what other
Whatever
people, you know, which
because she doesn't know her own self.
yeah, and she's like, she doesn't really care that much about eggs, so it's like fine with her. And she's like, oh, that's fine. But like he finally convinces her, no, you need to figure out what you like.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, okay, I'm gonna try all the eggs.
Those two just have the
Yeah.
most amazing chemistry. And
Mhm.
there's so many that movie is just so underrated to me.
Mm.
Just watching
Yeah.
their performances, I'm like, I just love it. It makes me
Mhm.
happy.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I would like. I mean, they did the Ticket to Paradise, and that was fun.
Mhm.
Her and George Clooney, and I like to keep doing more. Come
She's-
back to do more rom-coms.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean,
I
she's great
was
at
saying
everything,
about
but her rom-coms are just unbeatable.
yeah, and Sandra Bullock, you know, coming back to the Lost City. It was so fun. I'm like, thank you, Sandy. Please come
Mhm.
keep doing rom-coms.
She's
Like,
another one.
You got your Oscar, now come.
Right, but man, she was good in The Blind Side.
She was very good. And
Okay.
but my favorite of hers is and one of my favorite rom-coms, While You Were Sleeping. I
Mhm.
absolutely love that one. That one's so good. I think that script and like what a great movie in depicting loneliness and what it's like
Mhm.
to be
Yeah. Oh yeah.
alone. I think it shows it so well. And it's just so funny, that movie.
Yeah.
And great chemistry.
The
Mm.
chemistry is always the make or break for me.
Mm-hmm,
And it's got to be so intimidating as a casting director and as the director.
Yeah.
Just be so sure that these two people are gonna
Yeah.
pull
Well,
this
and
off.
especially because she's like engaged to, I mean, they think she's engaged to his brother. And so like that makes his like it makes it tricky because you don't want him to appear kind of skeevy and going after his brother's girl. And so it's a very tricky dynamic because that would make him seem unlikable if he was too forward. And so
Right.
yeah, it's such a good. I love that scene in that movie when they're all eating dinner and having like the different conversations. They're going back and forth and beef and Nazis, you know, and all this stuff back and forth. It's so funny. And I love that. And I also love when they're opening up the Christmas presents and she just kind of like sits there and just watches the family because she's just not had a family
Yeah.
for years and years. And for even before that, it was just her and her dad. So she's just not had that experience of like opening presents with family, you know, and so I just think it captures that so well.
It does. Do you have a big
Yeah.
family?
Yes. Yeah. There's I'm one of 6.
Wow.
Yeah. And kind of like your family though, there's a big age gap in between the older 3 and the younger 3. There's a 10-year gap, and we kind of joke with my parents that always burn the first batch. Try again.
I always say you save the best for last, but
yeah. And I say to my younger siblings, I say, well, you know, we got their youth and you got their money. So it all works out.
I don't know which is better. I think the youth is almost better.
Yeah.
I always joke because by the time I came along, my parents had gotten rid of the boat. Didn't do the lake trips anymore. And it was like, well, that sucks.
Yeah. It's true that there are very like different memories between the different batches of kids.
Huge memories. My brother and sister have completely different experiences with my parents and just their lives in general than I do. So, but it's fun because we get to share.
Yeah. Well, and it equals out pretty good, you know, once the younger kids are, you know, in their 20s and stuff. Like it's basically all adults, so it's all fine. But yeah, I was kind of mini mom for a long time, you know, sort of which is an interesting dynamic.
I got lucky. I never had to wish for younger siblings because my sister had 2 boys.
Oh yeah.
I grew up with that were like, my nephews are like my little brothers. So, you know, they just got married the last couple years. So it's been fun to watch them grow up and start their families. And
yeah, so. I think my youngest sister, I think she was 4 or 5 when my sister had her first girl. So yeah, pretty close too.
It made it nice.
Hey, there's lots of babysitters available, right?
No, me.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yes, lots.
Yeah. But it's fun and keeps things exciting, right? And my family too is type that we have like really different personalities. All 6 of us are really different.
Yes.
So it keeps things spicy.
Good.
I'm the only one in my family who likes Hallmark movies.
They're all into horror and
Yeah. It's like I had to start the podcast just so I had anybody to talk to.
just somebody talk to me, please.
Yeah.
Friends.
But they're very supportive, and I really appreciate that my family is like really low maintenance. Like if I've never felt an ounce of guilt for anything that I've had to miss or that I've, because of the podcast, because it really does kind of overtake my life. And I think that's a good thing, and I've never felt an ounce of guilt about that, and I'm really grateful for that, because that's definitely not always the case. Like some people will that like are more, some families are like more demanding on people's time, and I'm just glad that my family's just chill, which I really appreciate.
Mine's the same way. I'm there for all the important things, the wedding, I try to make it back at least every other Christmas,
right?
Christmas if I can, but they're very understanding.
Yeah. Well, very good. It's so nice to meet you. I really appreciate it, and I'm excited for the new movie, Greek Recipe for Romance. Gonna be super fun. Hallmark Channel. And
you better email me your review of it.
Okay.
I don't care if it's brutal or not. You better email it to me.
All right, I'll be real.
Hey, be real with me.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much.
If people want to follow you on like social media or anything like that.
Yeah, so I just have an Instagram. It's Danielle C Ryan.
Okay, great. We'd like to thank Danielle for coming on the podcast. This was a lot of fun to get to talk with her. I really enjoyed it. Hope you all did as well. Leave your comments in the comment section. We'd appreciate that, or on Twitter. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us a lot. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have the Patreon group and merch store, so please check that out. And thanks again to Danielle. Really appreciate it. It's great to meet her. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.